Coming up next, the Bookening continues their Redux. Hey everybody, welcome to the Redux 2020. We're talking about our best of and worst of. Also, I think we'll hopefully get to this episode of 2020. So, gosh, we talked about our best hero and who. Let's recount it real quick. Your hero last time,
Samwise Gamgee.
This is of all the books we did last year. You guys both said Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah.
I said Bilbo Baggins.
Yep.
Pretty good hero. I don't know. Book named after him.
He's
not like Lord of the Rings is called Samwise.
Yeah, whatever.
Then we talked about best heroine. I said Natasha.
Did
we all say Natasha?
Yeah.
And
so that was a win for Tolstoy.
Kind of an easy win, I think. I mean, Natasha is just one of the best female portraits in literature. So what are you going to do? And then we said best supporting character. And that was a fun discussion because we all had something different. I said Gandalf because, I mean, come on. Gandalf is a boss. He's awesome. Love him to death. One of my favorite characters in all of literature. Coolest wizard, coolest mentor. Brandon said Atticus Finch.
For the same reasons.
Yeah, basically. Coolest wizard. And you said Gollum, which was a great argument. And you can go back and listen to it, folks. But
that category is also who do we admire the most?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, obviously.
Who do you aspire to be?
Right. So I'm working on my... Okay, now,
Precious.
I should say, speaking of precious, my identity is precious. And it is that I am Nathan, your humble host.
Are you having a stroke?
Yes, I am. You guys smell popcorn? Brandon, of course.
Hey.
He's your precious scholar who's a baller of reading. And there's Jake. He's the pastor who's a master of bleeding. Woo. That's lingered past Halloween this year. All right, guys. Next category of Reduxitude. Reduxitude. Biggest? I don't know who ordered these. I guess me. Biggest surprise of the year.
Well, it definitely wasn't me because it's a surprise.
Right. So
I will say,
yeah,
I'm going to throw three things out there.
Mm-hmm.
At least three things. One, that I didn't want to shoot myself reading Johnny Tremaine.
Mm-hmm. That was a big surprise.
Yeah.
Two, that I'm going to throw four. That Waiting for Godot was the dumbest thing I'd ever read.
You were surprised by that?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, so I was sort of just hopeful.
You just knew it as like a title that people
admire. I didn't know anything else about it. Three, that Never Let Me Go was something that I actually enjoyed and loved. I appreciated
Remains of the Day.
But
you weren't a lover.
As a piece of art, but I didn't love it. I didn't enjoy it. I thought I was in for the same experience, but that wasn't what I got with Never Let Me Go.
Yeah.
So that was a nice surprise. And then the last one was that I actually found Dune to be really fun and enjoyable.
Yep. Well, those are good surprises. I'm not sure what...
I don't know. I'm going to throw a couple more surprises out there.
Yeah, go for it.
That To Kill a Mockingbird held up as one of the great American novels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing that out there. And that 1984 didn't feel as hack as I expected it to.
I would throw that in there. I would say Dangerous Laughter held up less well than I wanted it to or thought it would. Johnny T was definitely a big surprise for me. You know, The Trumpet of the Swan was a big surprise. It was such a weird LSD trip of a book.
Coming out, knowing E.B. White, having read as much of E.B. White elsewhere and coming out of Charlotte's Web, Trumpet of the Swan was a big what the heck moment.
Yeah, like WTH. WT heck.
Not necessarily in a bad way.
No, I mean, it's entertaining and not necessarily.
Yeah, but it was a surprise. It was like,
what is this about? And why is this about? And why is it referencing the Beatles? Isn't E.B. White 1,000 years old? Like, come on. Well, Brandon, your job is to go first in this round.
You guys have already said everything.
I know, but you have to choose the surprise of the year for
I know the surprise of the year for me. I would throw one more surprise would be that the Hollow Crown production ended up not being as good as we wanted it to be.
It was kind of actively bad. I mean, it wasn't just not as good. It was in many places pretty bad.
The front half of that was awesome and made you excited about the back half, and the back half was
the back half just felt like it was treading water, and it felt like, as Jake said on more than one occasion, I think they hired Cumberbatch and thought our work is done.
Exactly.
And their work was not done. In fact, they had taken a wrong turn in their work because Cumberbatch was an obvious,
should have cast against type,
lame choice.
As you like to say.
Yep.
They should have cast Sean Astin.
Honestly, I mean, that'd be interesting. What would that guy do with it?
He could have made a Richard.
Everybody would believe that he was sincere, which is what you kind of want with a Richard, actually. I love casting against him. Anyway, Brandon, your surprise of the year.
My biggest surprise, I know this already. My biggest surprise is...
I think you need to talk to the microphone.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot that we were doing a podcast. My biggest surprise is that War and Peace was so bad. No. My biggest surprise is that I didn't like Waiting for Godot. I did not care for it. Yeah. Huh. It was kind of garbage, actually. Hot garbage.
And you had read it before and you expected it to...
I liked Beckett. I thought I liked Beckett, but I did not enjoy Waiting for Godot.
And it was just...
It didn't make me laugh. I was just like, am I really doing this? Maybe it's either a sign of jadedness or that I'm becoming a part of the system, man, or that I've matured past it. And I think it's probably the last one.
I think it's the latter.
I'm gonna propose that we divide this into happy surprise and bad surprise.
So that was the bad surprise. Yeah. The happy surprise. Well, should we do your bad surprises?
Yeah, let's do all our bad surprises first. So, Jake, your bad surprise.
My bad surprise. It's funny. All the surprises that I then had listed were happy surprises.
These are good surprises.
My bad surprise is probably Trumpet of the Swan,
which is a mild bad surprise, I would think. But
yeah.
You had mentioned Waiting for Godot. That's not a happy surprise.
Yeah, but I also didn't know. I didn't have expectations, so for it to surprise me, I had high expectations for the Trumpet of the Swan, and so even though it's a fine, enjoyable, good piece of children's literature, it did not come anywhere near my expectations, either just in what it was or what it achieved. So, so I don't want to knock Trumpet of the Swan. I was expecting.
You were expecting a swan and you got a goose.
Yeah.
Trumpet of the Goose.
Nathan.
My bad surprise was, I don't know if I should be this controversial, but if I'm just going to be honest, the places where Lord of the Rings lost me were, and Lord of the Rings, let's be clear, and I'm not just saying this for podcast politics, I'm saying it, I really believe this. It's a brilliant work and I love it. And Tolkien's one of my favorite authors, and Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite books. That being said, I did not expect the places where that book would drag. I thought the whole thing was just going to rock as much as I remembered it.
Yeah.
And as we talked about ad nauseum in those episodes, the books where you go back to the world of men, especially once you get away from some of the kind of Fae stuff and it's just like Gondorian politics, that stuff, that just dragged. I mean, I don't care that Tolkien's interest in Gondorian politics vastly exceeds my own. And
that's like Tolstoy.
Yeah. Tolstoy's interest in Gondorian politics probably exceeds my own.
Oh, he'd write you pamphlets on it, man.
Yeah, no. Well, that's another thing to talk about. Yeah, so Lord of the Rings was brilliant. The places where it wasn't caught me by surprise. I kind of expected it to just be pure brilliance, and like any epic work, it kind of ebbs and flows more than I think I expected. So it's a mild kind of thing to say, but if I'm really being honest about what hit me negatively this year, it was that.
Okay.
Well,
best surprise?
Best surprise?
Good surprise, yeah.
Yeah, the best surprise was how much joy I had finishing being done with Dune.
No, Brandon, that sounds like a negative surprise.
You jerk.
Yeah. Oh, it was, no, it wasn't that bad, guys. I didn't hate it that much. My real biggest surprise was one we just talked about, was being convinced that 1984 wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
On mic?
On mic. And I stand by that. That wasn't just me doing politics for the bookening. I actually think it's better than I gave it credit for.
Well, that's nice.
That is my big surprise for the year.
So I'm going to have to talk myself into my answer here. I think if I try to be honest with I've listed a lot of positive surprises. I'm going to say that being surprised that I loved Never Let Me Go as much as I did. Rates relatively low because I still had a pretty high standard of
You knew it was going to be
craft.
good, at least, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a good novel. If I'm being honest about 1984, not feeling as hack, I also anticipated that 1984 was going to be a easy, fun, pulpy read for me, just like Dumb Candy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to rate that surprise low. That leaves To Kill a Mockingbird, Johnny Tremaine, and Dune. I enjoyed Dune. I don't know how surprised I am surprised by that.
I mean, I will say if anyone was going to enjoy Dune, it was going to be you, because you're usually the advocate of that sort of thing on this podcast.
Yeah, and you told me that, and so I'm knocking that off the list. So now it's down to I enjoyed Johnny Tremaine, and I might argue that To Kill a Mockingbird is the great American novel. Those were my two takes on those books. Were really surprising to me.
You would argue that Johnny Tremaine and To Kill a Mockingbird are the great American novels?
That I enjoyed.
Oh, surprising to me. No.
That I enjoyed Johnny Tremaine.
That Johnny Tremaine even inched by was a surprise to all of us.
I actually liked it.
Yeah.
We chose that book under, what's the word? We were not being fair. We were like, what is a book?
It would be really fun to have another
Ready Player One, or the books that we've just
or Madeline
Wrinkle in
Time.
That was exactly why we picked it.
People love the episodes where we can really just let loose and be as bitter and nasty as we truly are.
Yeah, and A Wrinkle in Time and Johnny Tremaine, I think I read back to back in the same class that I hated in 5th grade.
They have that same sheen to them for sure.
Yeah, and they have the same associations. Mm-hmm. And so it was
Knives Out for Johnny Tremaine, and
then I liked it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I liked
not
it.
Wrinkle in Time, that's for sure.
I enjoyed it. And then To Kill a Mockingbird, I expected to be hack propaganda liked for its politics. And was just blown away by how
it's just good.
Well written, everything about it. It's just.
I really think as things settle,
perfection.
it really might be the great American novel.
I think it might be the great American novel.
I think we said Huck Finn earlier this year, but
nah, I just reread it again with my students for AP Lit.
Yeah, I really think I'm coming more around. Yeah,
it's good.
It's amazing,
and it has none of the stupid things that Huck Finn has, of which there are many.
If I'm then gonna be honest with myself again, deep down, I'm gonna say, I can see why I shouldn't have been as surprised that Johnny Tremaine was enjoyable as it was. You're talking about young adult literature, American Revolution stuff. It was more complex and cool than it was a great surprise. But I'm going to say I had no idea, not the faintest clue that I was going to come away even liking To Kill a Mockingbird, let alone putting it at or near the top of the list for great American novel. So that's my answer.
That is a worthy answer. I actually thought of one more, which is Moon and Sixpence positively surprised me by coming around and being a good novel. It wasn't that exciting of a surprise, but man, that first chapter of Moon and Sixpence set me up for such a slog that
I enjoyed Moon and Sixpence.
The fact that it was pretty good and interesting was a surprise.
It's very well written.
Well, you beat me on that and forewarned me, so
it might actually it might have to enter the discussion for style.
Yeah.
Please. Tolstoy, Austen, Harper Lee, Tolkien, I think even Milhauser and Ishiguro, and you're going to say that Moon and Sixpence enters the conversation? Please.
I mean, it could at least...
It could
E.B. White's
make a little peep in the conversation.
It could dip his toe into the stream of the conversation.
Right. I'm going to say...
And then pull it out daintily.
I'm going to say ahead of Waiting for Godot, ahead of Johnny Tremaine, and ahead of 1984, and ahead of Dune. Okay, so on that list of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13, it barely cracks the top 10.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Well, we'll get to the style discussion in a second, fellas. My biggest surprise, you'd think I've had 2 answers worth of time to think of this.
Oh, so it's not Moon and Sixpence. I thought that was your answer.
No, that's just another thing that I thought was worth at least throwing out there. Yeah. That's a nice wax ball. I am tempted to say Dune because I tried to read Dune a couple times as a teenager and just thought it was a slog. And I did enjoy Dune enough to read 4 Dune books. And that's more than Jake even enjoyed Dune, I think.
That's more than I enjoyed.
Certainly more than Brandon enjoyed.
I guess I have the maturity of your teenage self.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, maybe one day, Brandon, you'll be ready to read God Emperor of Dune.
I was on the edge the moment I finished it. I was on the edge of turning around and like I had it pulled up on Amazon on my phone the moment. But then what turned me was just like I sat with it for half a minute and counted the investment versus the payoff. And then I thought,
life is short.
Life is short. Well, what I want to say
hard
is,
at best.
if he had ended it on some note that you could engage with on some moral level, I think you would have ordered the next book. I think the fact
Without
that
a question, yeah,
I think the fact that he ends it with that stupid, even though we are concubines, we are wives, which is one of the dumbest parts of the books, and it's also the last line. It's like,
yeah,
if you're so immature that you thought that was
retroactively-
how this book should end, it retroactively taints everything.
I think that's right. Yeah.
I really think if it wasn't for that, if it just ended with, and then Paul ate all the bad guys with his sandworm and life was good, I think you
might have turned right around.
I would have loved that novel.
Yeah.
Because when Paul is massing his army and he's about to come stomp down on the Baron,
so
and
cool.
the Emperor, it's just like, yeah,
It's so
this
cool.
is Star Wars.
It's some
this
of the
is cool. Yeah.
best action in it. Maybe the best action in literature that I've ever read.
It is
Better
the best
than the Napoleon War and War and Peace.
Brandon, shut up. Shut up. No, but shut up. My biggest surprise, I am tempted to go with Dune. Positive surprise, Johnny T would be another one. I'm just trying to think here. What was I really surprised by? Truly surprised by?
Nathan's jaded and surprised by
I'm just
nothing.
jaded and surprised by nothing. I am with Jake that I don't think I thought To Kill a Mockingbird was going to suck or anything, but the fact that it was as brilliant as it was not something that I was prepared for.
It's a masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece. It is one of the great American novels.
I was not surprised by that, but that's because I had just read it like 4 times.
You know what? I'm going to go with, sorry, Brandon, I'm going with Dune. It surprised me how much I enjoyed it. I really liked it.
You know what? We don't have to agree on everything.
No, we don't. I'll just stab you with my Chris knife.
Yeah, well, whatever. Sandworm.
Give your water to the desert or whatever. All right, guys. Next category. I mean, I really like Dune. I mean, I'm sorry that it's not better than it is, but it's a fun. It's worth
good.
I think most people that like that sort of stuff, that like Star Wars, they should read Dune once. It's good.
Yeah, it's
you don't
good.
have to read the sequel.
They should read it once, but I don't know. I just found myself not wanting to read it.
Well, you're fat.
Thank you, Nick.
Best.
You mean PHAT, right?
Yeah, PHAT, meaning a large mass of bodily fat.
All that.
Like Baron
And a
Harkonnen,
bag of
you've got
chips.
little floating suspenders, whatever that guy had.
Do I?
No, Brandon, you're not as fat as Baron Harkonnen.
Thank you, Nathan.
And anyone that says he is
Can take it up with us.
can take it up with us. Brandon is not as fat as Baron Harkonnen. We've said it here, folks. Do not accuse Brandon of being Baron Harkonnen. He is not.
Come at us, bro.
Yeah, come on. Don't add us, bro. All right. Best setting. So
Setting.
you got
Say that again.
setting.
Oh my gosh, I want to slap you.
And so you should. So you've got War and Peace has got some good settings. Petersburg.
Yeah.
Wait, so any number of settings from a book or like just
A scene with the best setting.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's an interesting question. Yeah, let's go with the best individual setting from a book. So it's
the best scene.
No, we're getting
The best setting within any book.
A
Like
setting
the
is
setting
like
that-
Lothlorien as a setting, or Petersburg as a setting, or it's the
Okay.
best place where a book took place. The desert in Dune, Arrakis is a setting, I guess.
Okay.
So this is a weird category. And
That's a hard category.
It is a hard category. So War and Peace, you've got the battlefield, you've got Petersburg, and
Yeah.
you've got
The sleigh ride.
the sleigh ride.
That's it, right
But
there.
that's a scene. I don't know.
No, but
But what categories do we have left?
between the scene and the? So much of what makes that scene great is the setting.
Yeah, I mean, what
Right?
do we have
Like-
left here?
Well, the difference. So
Yeah, tell us the rest of the categories.
we've got a lot. We've got best line, best style, best villain. Oh, we don't have best scene. Okay, so never mind.
This is it then.
This is best scene.
just 4 categories.
Okay, so I'm just okay, fine.
Best scene?
You know what? Best scene, and if you want to differentiate setting, just
I
for
don't
fun
want to.
in this. Okay,
If we want to
I don't find
differentiate
that fun.
setting, then let's do setting for the whole book. instead of.
Then I know, I got
Okay.
my answer for both.
All
then.
right. Best setting for the whole book, and then we'll do best scene.
This is going to show my love for two of the novels.
Okay.
And
yeah.
do you want me to go ahead?
Obviously, yeah. Go ahead.
My best setting is Maycomb for To Kill a Mockingbird.
Mhm.
Because I think that's the perfect setting for that book. You feel the world, you feel all the houses, you feel the courthouse, you feel the centrality of everything. She captures that feeling of small town America perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the setting.
Okay.
Best setting.
It's either
Best scene.
No, wait. We're just doing
We'll
one,
just
right?
do setting and then scene. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's either going to be Russia,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be
I mean,
Maycomb, or it's going to be Middle
Yes,
Earth.
my answer really is Russia. That's
I mean,
my real answer.
If somebody
but-
wanted to dark horse Dune here, I think Dune would actually
You could
be a fair
say
contender for this.
Arrakis,
yeah.
but you're not going to. Arrakis isn't going to beat Middle Earth once you open.
Yeah. With
So here's my
Okay,
strategy
so-
here. I'm only giving War and Peace the clear win when like he's so far ahead of everyone else that he clearly wins.
And you think he's so far ahead of Middle Earth, one of the most evocative settings of 20th century literature?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is I
he
think
went with Maycomb.
I'm saying the other places are in the running now.
Oh, okay, right.
But like with
I'm sorry.
setting,
Yeah.
it's the Troika ride. There's no, but in the scene, it's the Troika ride.
Okay,
Nobody
yeah,
else even comes close.
We'll get to it, Brandon. We'll get to it.
But setting, all these other writers have enough mastery with their setting that they deserve to have entrance into the. But I think, yes, Middle Earth's amazing. It should be in there, but I still think that Harper Lee takes it with Maycomb.
Okay, and what is your decision for setting, Jake? I mean, so it's Russia, and none of us is going to choose England and Austin.
None of that.
even
I mean, you could argue that Oceania is an interesting setting at least, but
You don't get
it's
enough of it.
just like you can argue that Arrakis is, but it's going to be Middle Earth, Maycomb, or Russia, and I'm just going to say I have to go with Middle Earth simply because of how creatively unique and wonderful it is. Tolstoy doesn't need Russia to be Russia to tell a story.
No, it could be France.
He could tell the same kind of story in France.
Yeah.
Maycomb, you're right, is perfect for To Kill a Mockingbird, but Maycomb is still, as well drawn as it is, it's just southern small town America. That's not special or unique as a setting.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Middle Earth blows the doors open on what a setting can be.
The Cat's universe.
the Catsiverse. Yeah,
So I'm going with Middle Earth.
That is a good answer, Jake.
I really thought Jake was going with the Catsiverse. Middle Earth is the obvious answer, and I think probably ultimately the right answer because. I mean, Rivendell.
Don't try to impose your opinions on me, Nate.
I think ultimately, if someone is thinking straight and being objective, it's Middle Earth.
Mr. Anna Karenina is better than War and Peace.
Oh, come on. Everybody knows that.
Anna Karenina is better than War and Peace.
War and Peace is better.
No.
Yeah, it's Anna Karenina.
Anna Karenina has all of the virtues of War and Peace plus a plot.
Yeah, and minus some of the detriments.
Anna Karenina has the detriments. This is an argument for another
Yeah.
podcast.
We've had it
One that we
several
had
times.
a
We
year
have
ago.
it again.
Yeah.
We've had it.
All of these books could take place somewhere else, actually, except for Lord of the Rings. I mean, you could transplant War and Peace. Ultimately, it is about the Russian character. You couldn't really, but you kind of could for the purposes of argument. Austin, same thing. Johnny T, I guess not, but who cares about Johnny T? Blah, blah, blah. Going down the list here. Megan, I think that's a strong contender. That's a good choice, Brandon. It is the best evocation of small town mid-century America that I've ever read, and what a hack thing to try and pull off. Like, how many bad novels have we all read?
Absolutely. And that was part of the thing that we talked about. Like,
Yeah. To be able to do this and not make it cliche and make it be this vibrant and this alive and this real and not feel like Mayberry, but also not feel like some dark David Lynchian, like the things that lurk beneath Mayberry, but just feel like a real town. Good stuff.
You could say that the void of Waiting for Godot was...
Pretty iconic setting, I guess.
Yeah.
Tree where they want to hang themselves.
Setting.
I think Lord of the Rings is probably the right answer, but I am going to give a little bit of love just for fun to Never Let Me Go, actually. That's going to be my answer.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I think The Boarding School, I don't even remember its name, honestly.
Hogwarts, I think.
Hogwarts, yeah. I think Hogwarts is really evocative, and you really remember it, and it sticks with you, and you kind of know the landscape of it. You don't know the landscape like you know Hogwarts. You don't know the West Wing and the East Wing, but you know...
No, but I have a place, when you mentioned the boarding school, I don't know why I can't remember the name of it, but it's very vivid. I have
it is very vivid,
a clear
and
picture of it.
In sort of a dreamlike way. It's just like, oh, I've been there.
It's a good answer.
In terms of a setting that has intrinsic emotion to it. A setting as setting, it's just a setting that means something. Like this, the fact that I feel like I could go to England and find that place and just stand in its ruins. There's something very evocative about what he captures, the nostalgia that Kathy has for it. It just captures something very real about the way that we remember our own schools, about or places that we grew up, and the terror and wonder of that. I don't even know how to quantify it or qualify it exactly, but it's a great setting, and I just want to use this category to throw a little Dark Horse love at it. So there you go.
Good answer. Good answer.
Thanks, Brandon.
And the survey says, ding ding, War and Peace is better than Anna Karenina. What? Go, keep going. Let's not even pay attention to what I just said.
I don't know what you're doing. Brandon's doing his own bookening over there. All right.
Family Feud?
Yeah, no, I like Family Feud. But Family Feud would never say that Anna Karenina is better. No, wait. I played in your hands there. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you said it. And Freud would say that you said what you meant.
All right. Well, best line, fellas.
You know what? I'm going to throw some love to cats.
Memory all alone in the moonlight.
No, stop it. McCavity, there's no one like McCavity. He's broken every human law. He breaks the laws of gravity. I think it's a great children's poem.
Taylor Swift does a great job performing it.
Oh, man. Okay, whatever. You know what? It's the scene when Pierre sees the comet. That scene, that whole scene, the greatest line.
Nah, you got to be able to quote the line, man. That's what I say. Something from Shakespeare, or it was a cold, clear day in December, or in a hole in the ground, or a hobbit, or Godot. Well,
then, okay, yeah, the best line then is, it's what men choose to do with the times that are given to them by Gandalf.
Yeah, you might just win with that.
I was trying to decide between that and Not All Tears Are Evil.
That's a good line too.
I had been thinking about that bit that Sam gives about the stars.
That's pretty great too.
But it's not the kind of line that's stuck.
Just
the way that
idea kind of.
It's the idea of it is what's beautiful more than the line.
Mm-hmm.
So do all who see such times, but all we have to do is
decide to do it at the time is that is given.
To do it.
The time that is given us.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys are?
I just think
that's the best.
Every year we're surprised by this category. But I think it's right that we're surprised by the category. It's like, what do you actually remember?
What sticks, right? And it is not fair to the other books that
there's a famous movie version.
There's a famous iconic movie version where that line is taken from Tolkien's context,
put into a better
context, and then delivered by Ian McKellen.
So Ian McKellen.
So
we'll get Ian McKellen to come on the podcast and read us John Is Your Main. We'll see if
another great line. I mean, I think all the great lines that stick with me just looking at these
come from Tolstoy.
They all come from Tolkien.
Yeah.
Even if it's I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you, or I'm glad to be here alone with you, Samwise, at the end of all things.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It's Tolkien. Tolkien gets the best lines. Let's just give it to him.
I mean, I really think, without any argument, Tolkien. I don't think it's just because they're iconic from the movie or anything. I think Tolkien just knows how to have that killer little moment that encapsulates everything.
Yeah, now I bet that if we had been more invested in the Hollow Crown or more familiar, or if we just went back and looked.
Yeah, I was trying to think.
If we went back and looked at, if we just took those three plays and searched best Shakespeare lines, we'd have like 10 lines that we all actually know. And
Winter of Our Discontent I can think of, and I Can Smile and Play a Villain. Unfortunately, Cumberbatch kind of soured us on Richard III, but Richard III has a lot of killer lines.
I still think it goes to Tolkien.
Yeah. On just a heart level.
Yep. I agree.
All right. Next.
I mean, the Bene Gesserit have a lot of wisdom, though, Brandon. I mean,
next category.
Fear is the mind killer.
Fear is the mind killer. I certainly said that.
Next category.
Hey, I didn't even say my best line. So are you guys both choosing? We all agree it's Tolkien, I think. Are you guys both choosing Time to Do With Us?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Time to Do With Us.
Time to Do With Us.
I think.
All right.
You know, I'm going to actually go with Not All Tears Are Evil.
That's
a good one.
And the reason is because not only is it a great line in and of itself, it comes at a perfect time. When I was reading that book to my kids, and I've got kids listening, spanning from 12 to about 7 listening, Some of those kids needed to be told by, as you made the case earlier in a previous episode, the greatest mentor maybe in all of literary history. That I do not say do not weep, for not all tears are evil. They needed to be given permission to cry because it was sad. And so a great line in and of itself at the end of the greatest fantasy trilogy of all time, at one of the most emotionally cathartic moments, giving 12-year-old boys not just the permission, but even the mandate to go ahead and cry it out because it's okay.
You should cry at this.
And there are things that you should cry about. Men cry. And this is sad. And so, Gandalf the White saying, go cry, son. It's okay.
Pretty great.
It's what you need to do. All of that makes it a great line in and of itself and a really powerful line in context.
Great authors tell you how to feel about their works, actually, within the text. It's something that they do. Do it subtly. Don't do it cheesily. Don't do it badly, but there's a way to do it, and there's a way it should be done. I'm going to go with something from Tolkien as well, although I do want to throw a little bit of props to He Loved Big Brother. That's a pretty great line from 1984.
Yeah.
But I'm going to...
dumb that we didn't think to mention that.
Yep.
Well, it's good that we thought. Actually, we just did.
Yeah.
Nathan did.
We did not.
I feel dumb for not thinking about it.
We did not commit a thought crime there.
And it's like the last line of any of these books that I've read.
That's true. Well, in terms of like a line that
sticks with you,
could go on a poster or a calendar. It's like just one of those lines.
I'm not sure it counts as a quote, but Never Let Me Go as a title is pretty great.
It is pretty great. That's true.
It is a quote from that book.
It's pretty moving.
Mockingbird, it occurs to me, probably has some stuff that we should give more love to than we have.
Can't think of them. They don't strike me off the top of my
exactly.
head.
I mean,
it's a Cindy Kill Mockingbird.
There is a good one. It has a swear in it, but when he says "do your duty," right at the end of his speech. So
good stuff. Tolkien is brilliant at just making little wry observations and things that stick with you, or having characters that are wise actually be wise, unlike a certain Miss Rawling that we've talked about before. So I love me some Lord of the Rings. The lines that have kind of stuck with me over the years have been the really funny or observant ones. And my favorite speech, just in terms of something that I think of almost every day when someone says this to me, is the Gandalf's good morning speech in The Hobbit. What do you mean by good morning? Do you mean like it's a morning to be good on, or you're feeling it's good whether you feel it or not, or you're feeling good? Or I really love that speech. So I'm going to give it to that because it's funny and something that I think of literally all the time. Literally all the time.
Okay.
Bringing us to our next category, fellas. Best. We kind of skipped over best scene, didn't we? We said we were going to. You said Troika.
Yeah.
What's your best?
We did. I'm just going to line up with that because it's such a beautiful
It's an iconic scene.
Okay.
It's similar to the raindrops on
Maybe
Logan's
it's
back.
a cop out, but
It's a good choice. I'm going to say
Troika. Good job. Let's move on.
what about the Balrog fight?
That's a good one. Okay, say a scene, Nathan. Get it over with. Go.
Balrog fight.
Good choice.
Best scene of the year.
I love it. I love it when Pierre fights the Balrog. That's amazing.
It's great.
I'm changing mine.
Shelob?
Shelob's a good answer. I'm sticking with Troika scene.
Troika scene's one of the best scenes in
awesome.
literature. It's awesome. It's great.
It's dumb. The only reason I went with Shelob is because I just made myself emotional about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I've decided it's more interesting to disagree and to not be objective.
Yep.
Troika is the best scene.
It is.
I agree.
It is good to disagree. It is great.
Yeah,
and
we all love Big Brother.
But greatest scene from the
Disagreement
greatest
is
work of
strength.
literature.
What's that? Troika scene, best scene in literature?
I mean, one of the greatest scenes and one of the greatest works of literature.
Yeah, Troika scene.
Full of a lot of...
Top 10 literary scenes of all time. Sure,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Go ahead. Next thing.
Next, okay. Moving right along here, folks.
We have definitely not been recording all day long.
No, definitely not. Best style. So let's...
Harper Lee.
Tolstoy.
Harper Lee.
Tolstoy.
You're wrong.
Dune. Come on, guys.
Okay. And there's a fight between me and Jake.
My sandworm's going to eat you. Well,
I'm standing close enough to you that if it eats me, it's going to
Ishiguro could be entered into the conversation pretty easily.
Lots of people, and as people from previous years know, we just don't put Shakespeare in these. But
Austin.
Or Austin, really. I mean, they're both
They just kind of don't count.
tip top.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, I mean,
neither one of their best works.
Arguably,
yeah.
Tolstoy's right up there with both of them. But
Yeah, but he's never gonna. He doesn't show up very often, so we let him compete.
He gets to sweep awards.
Yeah, he's so good that he actually transcends goodness.
yeah,
I think that Jake's correct and Brandon is incorrect.
about style.
Yeah, I mean, War and Peace is an amazing work of literature, but just in terms of style.
I mean,
Style alone.
I'll grant you. Okay, go ahead.
If the category were storytelling, then I don't know why we even would have to have the conversation. There's Tolstoy and there's everybody else.
Yeah.
Observations of human nature. Yes, Tolstoy sweeps all kinds of things, but just in terms of style, the trick that she pulls off with Scout,
The line that she walks from start to finish
between adult Scout, kid Scout,
is a masterpiece. It's absolute pure genius.
Oh,
I've never
man.
felt like and that you don't even like you can read it and not even know that.
it doesn't draw any attention to itself. It's just perfect.
It's just like it is so good.
And there's so many ways it could have gone wrong.
Yep.
I mean, I agree. It's an impressive feat, but you also could say the exact same things about Tolstoy.
Like,
And,
No, you
Good.
can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't say that Tolstoy walked a line
well, you can't say he walked
that
a line.
almost broke his story. What you can say is that Tolstoy's beat on human nature, his storytelling ability, his sense of just how to carry you along, his style could have sucked and it would still be awesome.
But his ambitions are not the same as hers. I think she shoots
Yeah,
higher.
but his style doesn't get in the way.
He's not like if you brought his style down a couple pegs, you still have the best novel on the list.
Yeah, but
if she fails with what she's trying to do from a stylistic standpoint, everything comes to pieces.
I understand what you're saying, but it's still, he matches some of the greatest style with some of the greatest storytelling. And so you get...
You know what? You're wrong. Tolstoy sucks at style. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
I think there's Dune, and then a few pegs below.
I mean, I'll say... I don't know what we're arguing about here.
Johnny Tremaine or War and Peace.
You know what?
They're about the same. You know?
I'll give the award to Harper Lee this year.
Question,
But-
do you speak Russian?
I'm putting Tolstoy in the cat. I'm
Have you ever
giving
actually
him the
read
same.
Tolstoy?
Here's what I'll do, guys. Here's the concession I'll make.
Mhm.
I'm going to give it to Harper Lee, but I'm putting Tolstoy in the same just category as Austin and Shakespeare. Why aren't we even talking about it?
All right.
I think that's fair.
I accept that.
I think that's fair.
All right,
All right, guys. Now, this is a fun category, I think.
because it's impressive. I mean, she's amazing. What she did was amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm not arguing there.
Mhm.
I love that book.
Mhm.
Enough that I've read it literally 6 times in the last 2 years.
You're talking about Dune now.
Yes,
Um,
because I do think he's a she, because
Right.
only an effeminate man could write that book. That's not even true. I don't even know why I said that.
you just wanted to draw blood
Yeah,
with your cis knife or whatever.
yeah. Don't even think that's true.
Best villain. So War and Peace has some Anatole. What's
Dolokhov
that?
definitely has
Dolokh's
to be in the
great.
running.
Sense and Sensibility's got Willoughby, kind of a proto Austin villain.
I mean, yeah.
Johnny Tremaine's got the British, I guess, that bully guy. Trumper of the Swan doesn't really have a villain.
O'Brien from 1984.
Strickland in Sixpence, I think.
Strickland's pretty good.
He could be in the running. Godot.
Sauron.
Yeah, so Tolstoy.
Saruman.
Saruman's a good choice, actually.
Somebody could make an argument for Gollum, even though Jake already used him in another
Yeah.
category. The Yules, Bob Yule, Society, and Never Let Me Go. Baron Harkonnen, the Brandon surrogate character.
Yeah.
Here, I'll go first. Best villain. I think I should I haven't made myself go first in a while. Boy, but I don't know what my answer is.
I know what my answer is.
Anatole was the villain that I hated the most this year.
Yeah.
Reading
Anatole and Helena.
Oh, I forgot about Helena.
Helena is
Helena's a
my
good
actual
villain.
answer.
Helena's a good villain.
She's a
I don't know
cold-hard
that
lady.
anybody made me.
Can you imagine
You
Helena
know,
with a ring?
Let me just say, we're all just going to blithely pass over Richard, and I think that's okay. But we just need to know.
Richard in a good year, Richard would have a better performer playing him. I think Cumberbatch lost it for Richard this year.
But I have never, I cannot, in terms of a villain that has made me think, I hate you so much. I am angry to the point of tears because you are evil. Helena and Anatole. There's just nobody
Kurgan
touches
family.
that. The Kurgans are the worst.
They are kind of the worst.
Them.
I think they might be the only villains this year that I actually
really
felt that
on a visceral
feeling,
level, right? Like
Baron Harkonnen, like he's the bad guy, whatever. And actually, that's the same for the Lord of the Rings bad guys.
Exactly.
To the extent where you feel anger towards Helena that you feel towards real world people who are Helena-types.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I
you immediately
know
flash to the hateful person in your life that
has caused destruction to...
And done it for no good reason.
Yeah.
That scene where the section where they're seducing Kitty is by far
it's so evil.
The most evil
and
segment.
true to life.
Yeah.
Evil, true to life, and the one part where that book really becomes kind of a pot boiler and you're on the edge of your seat.
Oh,
you mean where they're seducing Natasha?
Yeah. Sorry, what did I say?
You said Kitty.
Not Kitty. Sorry.
Kitty would have
He was flashing to the
better Tolstoy
now.
Right.
I don't think Kitty would have been seduced by him.
No.
But Levin would have been really worried she was.
No. Levin would have punched the wrong person, probably. Because that's what Levin does. Yeah, nobody. I mean, Willoughby's fine, but Austen's done it better. If you wanted to, like, if I was going to do a dark horse, maybe I'd say, like, Society and Never Let Me Go, man. Like, that's the other visceral feeling.
Thing.
Like, oh no, people suck. And you got to give some love to Lord of the Rings for some truly iconic villains. The Witch King,
don't have C.S. Lewis
or Witch King, Wormtongue.
We don't have C.S. Lewis in the running for this year.
Yeah, we don't have our true villain.
Remember when we did that?
Yeah, I think we did. We had to do that.
Samuel Beckett could be in the running. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to.
Charles Jerkface from Strickland.
Insofar as Strickland sums up so many things that we preach against on the Bookening all the time, I feel like we almost ought to give it to him. But the Kurgans, I think obviously.
I think it's the Kurgan family.
Yep.
Because what Tolstoy actually really understands is how wicked just a family can be.
Yeah.
And so
they're just.
I hate them.
They're petty. There's nothing about there's nothing grandiose about their villainy. They're just real life, down to earth, selfish people that destroy other people.
They are who the imprecatory psalms are written for.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sauron wants to dominate the world.
Oh.
No, well, I mean, seriously, though, like, at least Sauron's trying to do something big. Go big or go home. Those guys are just like, hey, if we destroy this random innocent young lady, that could be fun. That could give us
kicks.
Relieve our boredom for the next couple days.
Who would have thought there'd be somebody that can make you like the Kurgans? But Sauron? I mean, who can make you like Sauron? Sorry. Sauron, you're not so bad.
Yeah, no, Sauron's great. And as you said, Brandon, don't give the ring to those Kurgans.
What would they do with it? They'd be terrifying.
I mean, they just like sleep around with it. I mean, that's the thing. They'd just be like, let's destroy 40 people because it'd be fun.
But if you're in their circle, it's going to be awful for you.
You could say Society and To Kill a Mockingbird too.
That's true.
Which is true, but I'm not going to give it to. And I'm not going to give it to Bob Ewell. I actually think he's one of the weaker parts of a perfect novel. Okay, worst book, Brandon.
Guys are going to hate me for this.
There's a War and Peace.
Godot.
You know what? I'm going to go.
I'm
going to go with a safe choice. I'm going to say Waiting for Godot.
Yeah, you should.
Yep.
Don't say Dune.
It's Waiting for Godot.
Yep.
Dune aims little.
If Dune was in any other year, where
aims small and misses small.
If you didn't have Waiting for Godot up on this list, then Dune would win. But it's Waiting for Godot for sure. No question about it. Just like there's really no question about the next choice either.
It'd be Godot, then it would be Godot, Sixpence, Swan.
Yeah, I hate to put Swan so low, but if I had to rank them, I mean, Swan's not going to be very high.
Well, I mean, we are talking about classic literature, classic works of literature here. Somebody's got to be at the bottom.
I think the only legitimately bad thing we read from this year is Waiting for Godot.
Yeah.
And I'll even say, I think I admitted as much in our episodes on Dune. I didn't hate it that much.
Yeah.
I was just more indifferent towards it.
I would say Turn of the Swan aims small and hits small. Like
I shouldn't even say I hate it that much. I didn't hate Dune. I was just indifferent towards it. That's all.
I bet if they do a good job on the movie, you'll really like the movie because you tend to like that sort of thing in non-literary
I
forms.
found, I think that my problem is that
You let yourself be a pro when it comes to anything.
no,
that's not
I think
literature.
that I'm fine with it if it's a shorter. I think it's a shorter format.
I have some sympathy for that. That's one of the reasons I was the snobbiest person about Harry Potter. It's just like, for the nutrition I'm getting from this,
Yeah, I mean,
I have to read 7 of these things with like a billion pages.
So I
each.
buy the argument that I allow myself to be a pro with movies, but I think the reason I do is because I don't have to invest as much of my time into a movie.
There's some truth to that.
With a novel, I've got to invest like 10, 12 hours into Dune. So
for what
That's
you
fair.
get out of Dune, it takes a long time to read Dune, and it's a big book.
Yeah. And
So-
I don't think if they do the movie right, I don't know that anybody ever has to go and read that book.
No, they can just watch the
Yeah.
movie. I think that's totally fair.
Can I check and see if there's somebody actually out there or what the heck's going
That
on?
would be nice.
Yeah.
Because
pow, pow, pow. One of the
Oh,
creepier moments of my life is when we saw something during the Dracula episode.
yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it really happened, right?
That was legitimately weird. Yeah.
Yeah, something went by that door. I mean, somebody just had to be in the building.
Had to be.
Something happened.
I mean, if somebody came forward like years later and said, "Oh yeah, I punked you guys," it wouldn't shock me. Your flashlight's on, Brandon.
I know, just turned it off.
All right, guys, this is gonna be a really hard.
Can I go first?
Conversation.
So I think it won't be a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Johnny,
But I'm also going to enter in because this is the first year where we've actually it's not the first year.
Oh wait, did we
It's-
actually all say our worst book? I'll go with good to. We're all going.
Is
with
it really
Good.
Good.
is it really a debate?
I'll let go and let good. Yeah.
So this is one of the rare years where we get to enter our big 3 into the running.
Yeah.
We get Tolstoy, Austen, and Shakespeare, and I think with these representative works from them, I think Tolstoy takes it this year.
Absolutely.
War
No
and Peace.
question.
Pride and Prejudice was up there, and Hamlet. It'd be a fight,
Mm-hmm.
but not this
it's
year.
War and Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the top 5 things we've read. It goes right up there with the Bookening classics that are, Pride and Prejudice, Anna Karenina. I think it's better than East of Eden.
Yeah, no question about that.
Huck Finn.
Huck Finn, To Kill
Yeah.
a Mockingbird, I guess.
To Kill a Mockingbird, I think, would be up there.
Yeah,
the
if we
legitimate
didn't- if
argument
we
is
didn't-
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, if we didn't do War and Peace, and the fact that if we're talking about just like one book for our time capsule,
Mhm.
and we already have Anna Karenina in it,
You might want to put.
we need
Kill
that. Well, but we also already have Huck Finn in it.
So, Lord of the Rings, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah,
I
think there's an argument
you could,
to be
You could at least
made.
make that argument, yeah.
To Kill a Mockingbird, Lord of the Rings, just as pure literature, doesn't hold up to any of these other books. But as the best representative of its kind,
Of a genre.
of a genre, nothing else in that genre that I know of touches it
No.
before or since, and it is kind of the before. Like it is the prototype, and it's never been lived up to. So Lord of the Rings, To Kill a Mockingbird, and War and Peace are the only things that should, in my opinion, be in this discussion.
I agree with that. I mean, I would be sad to lose any Austen, but Sense and Sensibility isn't my favorite. In terms of just like mental handles that I would be sad not to have, I would really miss. I mean, I wouldn't miss because they'd be eradicated from my memory. But if you just took, said, Nathan, you can never talk about Gandalf again. You can never talk about Frodo or the Ring. Those bits of iconography and types are so useful and so fun and so cool to have that I think I could maybe talk myself into Lord of the Rings, even though I don't think it holds a candle to my enjoyment of War and Peace.
Here's another argument for Lord of the Rings. What on this list can you have handles with and use as an adult that you can also turn around and give to your kids? I mean, the versatility, a book for all seasons, a book for all ages-ness of Lord of the Rings is although when you said, useful handles, to lose 1984
That's where I thought you were going, actually.
would be a shame. No, but it's for the ideas and the handles.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with it as literature. Nothing as literature makes it worthy of this conversation. Only as a couple of handles, an idea, a short story that gave us the same handles would be
just as effective.
Just as effective.
Yeah.
But
and one of us not going to follow our hearts to War and Peace. It's the book that we love and that we...
It's the second best book I've ever read.
After...
Anna Karenina.
Those are the top two for me too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's this.
I think I
We
agree.
we jokingly debate about these two books, but they're both the top two books.
They're kind of just like one. Like Tolstoy is the best thing we've ever read.
You could imagine Levin being a part of the War and Peace universe. You could imagine Pierre walking into the Anna Karenina universe.
The extended Tolstoy-verse.
So they together are the two. I mean, Tolstoy managed to write the two greatest works of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The way I get around it, and I know it's just a bit of self-justification here, is that I argue that War and Peace simply is just not a traditional novel, but whatever.
So the best novel is Anna Karenina, and the best whatever it is.
The best
War
work
and
of
Peace.
fiction is War and Peace.
Yeah.
So, but that's not our debate here. War and
Well,
Peace.
for that reason,
If we can,
if our time capsule, is that what we're doing? Like one book from each year?
I think
Did we do that?
if I could have,
I never planned for that, but I think we always end up talking about that.
Okay, so I want to know what we already have in the time capsule.
I don't think we've ever kept track. Listeners, if
Anna
you know, let us
Karenina.
know. Huck Finn, I think.
probably Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
I think Pride and Prejudice beat Huck Finn. That was the same year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pride and Prejudice from year 1.
Anna
Anna
K.
Karenina from year 2. Year 3 would have been years 3 and 4.
Hang on. It usually ends up being our Christmas episode, right? What would year 2 have been? Would Harry Potter have made it?
No.
Bleak House? No. Let's see. Let's get them through episode 50.
Old Man in the Sea, maybe? I'm not seeing much in 19 that we would have done. Midnight's Children, The Crucible, War and Peace is technically 2019, I guess.
No, it's 2020.
Remains of maybe Charlotte's Web, actually. I wonder if we didn't do Charlotte's Web.
Oh, I bet we did.
I think we probably did.
I think we did. I think we put Charlotte's Web in there.
Okay.
So I vaguely remember doing that.
The Odyssey may have made it in there.
And I think that from that year, that was a weird year.
Which one?
19.
19 was a weird year. I don't know that there was any standout that year. It was a good year, but I don't know that there was a standout.
So wait, we're saying 17 was what?
Pride and Prejudice.
Okay. And then
18 would have been Anna Kay, without a doubt. 19 would have been, we think, Charlotte's Web.
When did My Antonia do a thing? Because
16 would have been Pride and Prejudice, guys.
Yeah. 17
would
was
have
Anna
been
Kay.
Anna Karenina.
18 would have been Charlotte's Web. 19 is the weird year that we don't really know. Would we have put Chronicles of Narnia in there?
I could see us making that argument.
Or is that the year where... yeah, I don't even know if we did it last year because we had a fantasy draft instead.
Yeah, that's right.
18 is Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, 19 we skipped.
18, I could see us making an argument for the Odyssey.
Yeah.
But I don't remember.
No, we definitely did Charlotte's Web because we said it was the pinnacle of children's lit.
Well, let me go ahead and make a list of that right now. So time capsule books are...
Well then, okay, so we're back to the discussion.
What are the books that go in the time capsule, just so I can remember them?
Pride and
next year?
Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice from 2016. Anna
Kay.
Karenina from 2017. Charlotte's Web from 2018.
Nothing from 2019.
Do we want to throw one in from 19 just now? Just is there an easy one to throw in?
I'm looking at it, trying to figure it out.
Not really. Magician's Nephew. Chronicles
Midnight's
of Narnia.
Children.
That's I can't go in the time capsule.
Midnight's Children, Chronicles of Narnia. The Willows.
Should we just give it to Narnia? I mean,
Old Man in the Sea.
I think it's Old Man in the Sea or Narnia. I mean,
Jane Eyre.
I probably would have been...
Persuasion.
I probably would have had such a strong gut
Gatsby?
reaction.
I'm not putting that in my time capsule.
Yeah.
I think I would have had such a strong gut reaction against having Narnia in there that I would have argued for Old Man in the Sea.
What if we can vote to pick nothing and go back and rescue something from a previous year?
Let's do it. Okay.
And then that brings us to East of Eden, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. So,
We chose to axe all of 2019 and go back and rescue East of Eden from 2016.
so we've got Pride and Prejudice, Anna Kay, Charlotte's Web, and East of Eden are in the time
I think we
capsule.
probably have argued in the past that Shakespeare's just in there.
Yeah. And
But no, I don't think he gets a pass, right? He's had to go against all these other works.
Yeah, I think for time capsule purposes.
yeah,
We just haven't read the Shakespeare that has made us want to put him in there yet.
Well,
Yeah.
we're doing Hamlet next year, aren't we? Like that's a good... I'm going to argue for time capsule for that. I mean,
yeah. So I'm going to say,
Last year we put nothing in.
But we just used that slot to go back and rescue East of Eden.
So last year is when we went back and rescued East of Eden.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we didn't use that slot. I agree with that. Well, then I think that I know what I'm going to do. Can I say?
Yeah.
I love War and Peace, but we've already got Anna Kay. We've got Tolstoy in there. If I'm going to have to save anything, I don't think that I would be happy with thinking about reading for the rest of my life without being able to go back and read
It's a nice build-up.
The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'm going with The Lord of the Rings.
It pains me to consign To Kill a Mockingbird
I
to
know,
the
that's what it came
apocalyptic
down.
Yeah.
That's what it
flames.
came down to. As soon as I was about to say it, I was like, but I'm never going to be
Well,
able to read about Scout and Jim again.
What we can do though is we
Rescue it.
should have a secondary list of passed over books
Mhm.
that get added to the list that go up against any year's books.
Well, War and Peace and To Kill a Mockingbird have to both be on that list.
Both War and Peace and To Kill a Mockingbird
Huck Finn.
are already on the list. Huck Finn should be on the list.
My Antonia. I'm
And
putting
My
on there.
Antonia should be on the list.
Remains of the Day.
And Never
It's
Let Me
never-
Go is better.
Never Let Me Go should be on.
I'll just put both of them on there. This is
Yeah.
none
It's
of
just
these
the
are actually
list.
going in the time capsule. So
Yeah.
Because we'll probably never have another year like 2019.
maybe we will.
I don't know. I could see not arguing for Hamlet and going for one of these others.
Emma should be on the list.
What
yeah,
should?
that's true. If Mansfield Park just had a better ending, I'd put it on there. But Emma really is the other Austen to beat,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. King Lear.
Macbeth.
I mean, Lear probably does deserve it.
It does.
Okay, well, this was a fun year.
It was.
Oh no, Jake was just eaten by velociraptors.
It was really violent.
Mm-hmm.
There's blood everywhere.
Some tendrils hanging off of Brandon's head.
Yeah, let me get those off real fast. All right.
Yep.
They're off now.
Okay, good.
All right. Whew.
Yeah.
Hope it comes off. This blood. I really like this shirt.
Yeah, that'd be a shame if Jake ruined your shirt like
I
that.
know. Jake, so thoughtless.
Yeah. Come on,
Only
dude.
thinks about his shirt. Well, guess what? His shirt's in tatters now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always dressing so nice, but
Mhm.
look whose shirt isn't torn up now. It's
Mhm.
mine.
Well,
That was probably our nicest disappearance of Jake ever.
getting torn apart by
Yeah.
velociraptors.
He's becoming the Kenny.
He's becoming Kenny. Was that our nicest? I feel like usually he doesn't die. He just gets abducted or falls in a
I was
hole.
being sarcastic, Nathan.
Oh.
Do you know what sarcasm means?
No.
Oh, that was like layers of sarcasm. That was a sarcasm cake.
Wait, what?
That was a sarcasm tiramisu.
Brandon, I don't know what sarcasm is, so I'm
Oh.
not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, Nathan. You should really be hosting this then. Literary podcast if you don't know what sarcasm is, buddy.
Okay, cool. I am. Oh, brother. We have fun on the Bookening, don't we, Brandon?
We do.
Speaking of fun, it's fun to give us money at patreon.com/the Bookening. And Brandon, why don't you make a different dinosaur noise for each one of these patrons?
All right.
If you give us enough money, you'll become part of the donor shout out club and we'll shout you out. Robert and Ron to the Lovebirds. The Artful Anthony Dodger. Little Anthony Cigar Store. The Immortal Chelsea E. Ah, yes. My favorite dinosaur. Jimmy Beam and Little Annie Oakley. Lily of the Valley. Andrew Nestor the Lovebirds. The Keith Master. David's Mighty Men Trucking. Oh no. John and Jill Little Baby Max. Jane and Katie who are cold and love cheese and also C.S. Lewis and Goodly Toy have faces. Fairy Princess of Wonder and Happiness Mother Beth. Consul Prime Adam. Jeremy the Dark Coated Lord of Death. Nathan Not Me. These are some spooky dinosaurs, man. Maya! Ryan the Red Avenger and Judith of the Ladies of Justice. Danny the Dude. DJ Sammy G. Benny and Danny Tiberius. Eric and Catherine from Yon Window Break. Professor and Lady X.
That's as low as I can go. Let's try to go the opposite direction.
Lavender's green, Dylan, Lavender's blue, Lavender's green, Dylan. I love you too.
Let's see. Who's that? That was Leonard Cohen singing it.
Yeah. The Cohensaurus, one of the creepiest, most sexually deviant of all dinosaurs. Noah Constrictor, speaking of reptiles. Maricheap. Fair and fragrant maiden Chloe.
Ah.
Hey. Anthony, who's Cold Nate's Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Cheese. Jiu-Jitsu Jeffrey, the Texas Ranger. Rachel.
Rachel.
Midnight Ninja Ellen. Queen Kinketta. Return of the Jedediah. Jay of Bracken
Might
Ruin.
be as high as I can get there. Woo! Losing my voice.
Timothy the Rider of Dawn.
Woo!
Eric of the Gate, the Game of Kings, War Warm and Love Bees.
What noise have I not made yet?
Yeah, oh, good. That's creepy. Man. The classic dinosaur that makes the noise of a person falling. Sweet Jamie Sunshine. Woo, woo, woo.
I'm sure a dinosaur sounded like that.
I don't know.
We would never know.
Yeah. We're not dinosaurs. They're dead. Tyler, the Keeper of Eternal Darkness, and Laura, the Keeper of Eternal Light. Cold Steel Cody. Jacqueline, the Librarian Barbarian. John Bombadillo, Bomb Diggity, and Captain Tennille, his mate. Saxophone Alex. Eli, the Scarlet Pilgrim. You're out. Well, you gave us a lot. The other saxophone.
Hang on now. No, I got this. If my computer's not.
Oh, it's the Delosaurus. The other saxophone Alex and Dubstep Danny. Is that a dinosaur?
This claims this is the real T-Rex sound.
Oh, this is the real T-Rex sound.
Yeah. Only the best for Dubstep Danny and the other saxophone Alex.
Are you sure that wasn't we're waiting for the T-Rex to show up sound?
I don't know. It may have also just been my stomach.
Brandon did say he was very hungry before this. Ryan the Terror of Texas and Eric of the Cream and Crimson, who are cold and stuck in the cold. Please send cheese. Yeah! Yeah!
Oh, that was fun.
Bye, folks.
Bye.